Have you ever stopped to think about why you feel, well, connected to certain brands like Nike or Apple? It's this thing that feels like magic, right? But spoiler, it's not. Behind that feeling is a very deliberate, very powerful blueprint. And today, we're going to pull back that curtain and break down exactly how the top brands in the world win.
The co-founder of Nike, Phil Knight, really hit the nail on the head with this one. In the world of business, being great means you're a target. So this kind of masterful marketing, it isn't just about getting new customers. It's a constant game of offense and defense in a world that is just brutally competitive. It's about building a brand so strong it can handle anything thrown its way.
So you got to understand the biggest companies out there, they're not just getting lucky or banking on one-hit wonders. No, they are guiding their customers, all of us, through a really carefully designed 4-act journey. This isn't about throwing random tactics at a wall. It's a system. It's a process for building real relationships.
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We'll start with the big picture, the blueprint itself. Then we're going to break down each of the 4 acts, grabbing attention, building trust, driving action, and the big one, creating lifelong fans. By the end, you'll see exactly how this whole journey works.
Okay, let's dive right in. The core idea we're exploring is what's called the customer value journey. The easiest way to think about it is like a funnel that systematically moves people from, just vaguely knowing a brand exists to becoming its most passionate advocates. And every single stage has its own goal and its own set of place.
So this funnel, this is how brands strategically engage with us. Right up top, what they call tofu, or top of funnel, it's all about making a big splash, getting broad awareness. Then, in the middle, or mofu, it's about consideration and building a relationship. And finally, down at the bottom, bofu, it's all about that conversion. The true masters, they know exactly how to guide us through each and every stage.
All right, let's kick things off with Act 1. This is where it all starts. And the goal here sounds simple, but it is incredibly hard to pull off. Make people who have never, ever heard of you stop what they're doing, look, and actually listen. This is the art of awareness.
So this first stage, it's all about one thing, making a killer first impression on the biggest audience you can find. It's not about selling anything just yet. It's about starting a conversation, making an introduction that people will actually remember.
So how do the best of the best actually do it? Well, they tap into deep human emotions. Look at Fevicol. They take a product that's, let's be honest, kind of boring and adhesive, and they use these hilarious, relatable stories that make it completely unforgettable. Or Amul, a brand literally born from a farmer's protest built on trust, and its iconic mascot has been this witty voice in Indian culture for decades. But the absolute masterclass has to be Dove's Real Beauty campaign. It didn't just sell soap. It tapped into this raw, cultural nerve about beauty standards, and in doing so, it started a global conversation that's still going on. That is how you make a brand matter. And this, right here, this is the key takeaway. The fundamental principle, creating that emotional connection, it hasn't changed a bit. But the platforms, they've changed completely. What used to live in a 30-second TV ad now has to thrive on places like TikTok, where these discovery algorithms reward brands that stop acting like advertisers and start acting like creators. Okay, so that's Act 1. Now let's move on to Act 2, because this is where things get really interesting. Once a brand has your attention, the next step, and frankly, the more critical one, is to actually earn your trust. This is where a quick glance turns into a real relationship.
This is that middle ground, right? You've gone from a simple hello to an actual conversation. The brand has to prove that it gets you, that it understands your problems, and that it has the best solution. It's all about giving value before you even think about asking for the sale.
The secret sauce to building trust these days, it's all about being helpful. Even Google says it flat out. Modern marketing has to prioritize people-first content. It's not about trying to trick the system anymore. It's about creating genuinely useful stuff, articles, videos, guides that actually help people solve real problems. Trust is built on a foundation of generosity.
So how do brands actually build this engine of trust? Well, first, they offer something really valuable, like an ebook or a webinar, in exchange for an email address. Then they get smart and personalize their communication based on what you actually do, making every message feel relevant. And finally, they automate the whole process to make sure the right message gets to you at the right time. That's how you turn casual interest into real engagement.
So, you might be thinking, is all this work really worth it? Well, check this out. The top 10% of email marketers generate 9 times more revenue per person than the average marketer.
Building trust isn't just a feel-good idea. It is a massive, massive competitive advantage.
All right, so the brand has your attention, they've earned your trust. Now comes Act 3. This is the moment of truth. How do they turn all of that hard-earned trust into a real, tangible action, like a purchase or a sign-up?
This is it, the bottom of the funnel. This is where all that relationship building either pays off or it doesn't. The key here is to make the offer super compelling and to make the process of saying yes completely and utterly seamless. Any friction right now and you lose the sale.
And for a masterclass in this, look no further than Netflix. That search bar, it's not just a search bar, it's a genius-level discovery engine. It uses something called natural language processing, which is just a fancy way of saying it understands what you mean, even if you type in something vague or misspelled. Then it personalizes everything in real time based on what you watch, what you rate, even what you skip. It makes finding what you want effortless.
And believe me, those little details make a huge difference. The average conversion rate for e-commerce sites is floating around just 1 to 3%. That's tiny. The brands that win are the ones that are absolutely obsessed with the small stuff. They know the difference between a click and a customer is hidden in those details.
But wait, it's not over when you click buy. Not for the really smart brands anyway. The journey doesn't end with a single transaction. The real magic happens in Act 4, turning a one-time customer into a lifelong fan and, ultimately, an advocate.
I mean, just think about it. When are you most excited about a brand? It's right after you've bought something from them. And the data backs this up. Post-purchase emails have a mind-blowing open rate of almost 60%. That is the golden moment, the prime opportunity, to make that customer feel great about their decision and start building that long-term loyalty.
And this chart right here, it just lays it all out, plain as day. The top 10% of marketers are getting 4 times more repeat purchases from their post-purchase communication than the average. They're not just sending a digital receipt. They're starting the next chapter of the relationship.
And the ultimate goal of all of this? It's to create a tribe. And nobody has done this better than Apple. Remember that iconic iPod silhouette campaign? It wasn't about the gigabytes or the features. It was selling an identity. It was saying, if you have this, you're one of us. You're part of the creative, cool, forward-thinking culture. It wasn't just a music player. It was a badge of belonging. That's how you turn customers into believers.
So there you have it. We've gone from top to bottom, from that first glance to becoming a true fan. And as you can see, it's not a bunch of random marketing tricks. It's a deliberate, systematic journey. It's a unified strategy.
So here's what I want you to walk away with. The brands we really admire, the ones that last, they aren't just pushing products on us. They are masterfully guiding us on a journey. They make us feel seen, understood, and like we're part of something bigger. So whether you're building a brand or just trying to understand them, the real question is, where does your journey begin?